As you're working towards, planning your career, it's important that you understand all your options, and it's also important to keep your mind open for options that you maybe didn't necessarily consider. And so we're going to talk a little bit about jobs, education, and internships. Now, like I mentioned in the previous video, jobs are all those different things that you have that are kind of like building blocks to your overall career. And it's important to have a variety of different jobs. And what I mean by that is it's important if your career goal is to be in management, then it's important for you to have those job experiences and cross train. So, perfect example, when I was at Chester's Hamburgers, now granted, I was in high school, it was my high school job, my post high school job for about a year or two. But I cross-trained. I started in the kitchen, basically bussing tables. And then after I had done kitchen for so long, then I got cross-trained into the opening kitchen position, where I actually came in and I cut the potatoes for the day, for the French fries. And then during the day, I bussed tables and washed dishes. And then after doing that for so long, then I was like, you know what? I really want to learn what it's like to actually make the burgers and to prepare them. And so I got trained on the prep position. And so then at that point, I was working on preparing the burgers and as they're specified by the specific orders. And then after I did the prep, I did both opening and closing of both the different prep positions. And then once I mastered those, then I wanted to become the grill. And so I learned what all it took to open the grill, and put everything on the grill, drop the French fries, do all that kind of stuff. And then once I was 18, then I was able to move up to the front and learned cashier. I learned the drink station. Ultimately, I learned the expos position, which basically took the orders from the front register out to the back to the grill to say, this is what we need you to drop. This is the food that the next run is going to be. And so I learned all those jobs. And the last thing for me to do was to be the manager. Well, I had this desire to actually wait tables. And so as a result, then I went and worked at TGI Fridays. I worked at Cheesecake Factory. And so I have this food service background and experience. All of these jobs have helped shape the career that I have had and the career that I'm going to have. And so it's important as you're going through that although it may not seem very desirable, but cross-training at the time, cross-training to different positions and learning different skills, it's important to have. If you want to be a restaurant manager, front of the house manager, then it's important that you've been a busser, that you've been a server, you've been a host, so you can relate to the unique challenges of each of those positions. Same thing if you're going to be a sous chef or if you're going to be an executive chef, then you should have worked in every position, prep cook, line cook, every position on the line. So that way you really have the experience and to relate to those people that are in those positions. My career before I started teaching was actually in the event industry. And so the event industry, all of my experience in food service, as far as timing and organization, all of that stuff kind of came together with the event industry because I understood menus. I understood how to put menus together. I understood a lot about some of my own just personal growth as far as color coordination and basic simple design. I don't think any single person can do an event all by themselves because it takes so many different creative aspects. And so networking was huge in the event industry because, again, there's no way I could do a single event by myself. I have to rely on other people. And working in those teams helped me realize how to work more effectively with a large group of people. Education. Now, the book talks about educational opportunities. For you all, obviously, you're in school right now, so that's great. a lot of the industry professionals that I speak with really love the fact that students are coming out of the program with a degree. However, they also encourage you to have experience while you're in school. So that way, when you do graduate, you have a basic experience as well as a degree at the same time to match up. So if you have the opportunity, I highly recommend you to start looking for jobs in the hospitality industry in whatever field you're looking in, whether it's culinary arts, baking and pastry, hotel, hospitality management, restaurant management. Start looking for those jobs and start working in those positions so that you can have that experience plus a degree in the end. And that moves on to that internships. So there are a variety of different companies that offer structured internships. At the end of every one of our programs, we have what's called a practicum. And in the practicum, you will do on-site kind of practical hands-on experience based on your degree. And so that will give you a little bit of experience you can put on as far as employment. But if you have opportunities in the summertime to do internships with companies, they can be paid or unpaid. If you ever have any questions about different companies that offer internships, please come find me in my office, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to connect you with companies. Same thing with jobs. If you're looking for jobs, I work with a variety of different hotels that provide on a every other week basis, usually, or at least once a month, the positions that are open at their hotels. And I post those outside my office. So I encourage you to come by my office, 202B, and look at those job postings. Even if you are culinary and restaurant management and baking and pastry arts, I don't want you to discount hotels as potential places to work. And the reason why I say that is because we have full service luxury hotels that have amazing restaurants in them. And so just because it's a hotel, don't take that for granted and just think, oh, there's no jobs for culinary. No, there definitely are jobs for culinary and baking and restaurant management in full service hotels. The select service hotels like La Quintas and Motel 6 and Best Westerns on some of them, they're not necessarily going to have food service operations. They may have a complimentary breakfast in the morning, but it's not necessarily going to be at the culinary level as a full service hotel with a restaurant. So as you're thinking about these options for professional growth, look at the different jobs that you can have and don't be afraid to cross-train. Talk to your managers because talking to them will show that interest that you're willing to work in a variety of different departments. That means that you are looking for that growth within that company. Continue with your education. If you are interested in getting a bachelor's degree, the University of Houston is here in San Antonio that you can do that. Otherwise, once you finish your associate's degree, then you can go out to the industry and start building your career at that point, or expand on the career that you've already started building once you decide to come back to school. And then again, internships, okay? Now, let me say one last thing about internships before I end this video. Internships are, like I said, they could be free, paid or unpaid, but you want to make sure that you are gaining valuable experience from an internship. So I had someone once call me and say, David, I need interns. And really what she was saying was she needs somebody to answer the phone and make calendar requests and to send email paperwork. Well, that's one small part of that particular job. And so, but I don't want somebody to call me and say, David, I need interns because they want free labor. I want you to make sure that if you are going through an internship, that you are gaining valuable experience from that, because your time is valuable and you need to be respectful of that. Again, if you have any questions about any of these 3 topics, please feel free to come find me or shoot me an email.